welcome in DFS Huddle. It's week 7 time. This actually turned into a fun time last week too. Some start sits, which I think are hard questions sometimes. When they're like, start sit, and it's like two guys who are dead even. So we're gonna do all that. We're here to do, but it can be hard, right? Don't you agree?
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Insanely hard, dude.
you're on the spot, right? You're like, it makes for great TV, but we appreciate everyone watching. Of course, welcome into DFS Huddle. Kyle provides Erik Toft. We're going to try to guide you through week 7 DFS, the main slate, an ugly main slate, if you ask me. Like, this is it's an ugly slate. And listen, we need to start getting into the habit of checking the weather. We have this like nor'easter stuff going on the East Coast, right? So there's a lot of games. Like just looking here, the game in Chicago, Cleveland, Tennessee, the other New York. All those games have a chance at rain. And again, it doesn't mean it looks like definite rain in Cleveland for that Browns. Feels like Browns Dolphins is going to be on my red zone way more than I want it to be. You know, you're just going to be like, son of a bitch. Why the fuck is Dylan Gabriel throwing another touchdown to Harold Fannin Jr. to ruin my Sunday? But coming off of last night, we saw your boy Jamar Chase go completely bonkers. DK Metcalf not go bonkers. Pat Freiermuth took all the fantasy points. How we feeling going into week 7 overall, injury-wise, weather-wise? This colder months now, like I think games in domes and in good weather become premium.
I feel great. I thought last night was great. The fat bet hit. Bengals plus 5.5 hit. Started off good. I kind of like this slate. I like this slate more than I liked last Sunday's slate in terms of fantasy.
Oh, I got killed last Sunday. I had a terrible time last Sunday.
Oh my God, we were talking about it. I limped to the finish line in guillotine. Thank you, Kyle Pitts.
I thought you were going to be okay. Our boy Gino, R.I.P. Gino. If you guys follow our boy Gino, let him know. Say, haha, for getting knocked out, week 6 of the guillotine. He's gone. He's gone. My team is an absolute buzzsaw. I just have too many good players. Even though DK let me down, I'm going to be fine for a while. I need your boy. I need you to get knocked out so I can give everything for Jamar Chase.
Thanks, man.
Well, I was already plotting, so I don't know if you do this. And we're going to get to your start. So we got our start sit question. We're going to cover all the DFS stuff. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But do you start doing the plotting where you start looking like, okay, I think this guy's going to get knocked out, so I'm ready to bet?
Oh, dude, I had it 2 weeks ago when who was it? St. Brown. I was going to go so far in on St. Brown because I was looking at like, dude, I'll have St. Brown. This is before Wilson got hurt. I'll have St. Brown, Wilson, and Chase. I'm in a phenomenal position. And then Mahomes went off for that guy, so he's still alive. And now because of Wilson's injury, I'm overbuying Rome Odunze, so I have a somewhat solid wide receiver too.
Yeah, it gets tough. It's tough. Guillotine League, it's fun. It's going to be ridiculous at the end. I feel like the last week, it's just going to be 2 mega teams, right? Just like you can have whoever you want. It's just luck, right? It's pure luck. Does second place get paid out in that one, or is it just first place?
Second, first, second, and third.
First, second, and third. I feel like I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there till the end. God damn, I'm going to be there. First question before we get into today's DFS or Sunday's DFS. Our guy Bobby Thomas, what's up, boys? Walker or Dobbins? So you got Kenneth Walker taking on the Texans on Monday Night Football, the late Monday night game. And then, of course, the Broncos are taking on – why do I keep forgetting who everyone's playing?
Broncos are playing the Giants. I mean, for me –
Broncos are playing the Giants.
I love Kenneth Walker, but in this scenario, I would go Dobbins just because Giants are good at rushing the quarterback. They're not good at run pro. They're not
good at anything else. They're only good at rushing the passer, right? Like the Giants rush the passer like banshees. They're just like fucking spider monkeys, right? They fly, but they can't stop anyone in the pass or in the run. So there you go. All right, let's get into it. Week 7. Like, subscribe, guys. We appreciate that. Share it out with your friends. If you want all of our DFS lineups, talking college football lineups here, our best bets, which we've been on fire, baseball, college football, so much content's in our Patreon. DFS, the link's in the video description below. You can go to patreon.com/DFS Huddle, all that stuff. Click over there to join. All right, let's start at quarterback. I basically just did like a top 5 at each position, and I feel like my player pool is going to be more condensed this week because I just don't think there's We have great options everywhere. Who do you like at quarterback this week?
I went the other way. My player pool is. I was actually going to text you. My player pool is way too big this week.
Excellent. Okay.
Quarterback Drake May obviously got the rushing upside. Ran for 28, 261, 3 TDs in the air. Has multiple scores passing in 4 or 5 games. Has 2 rushing touchdowns. Ran for 95 yards last time they played the Titans. 206 in the air, 1 touchdown. The worry point, though, is the Titans this year, shockingly, are only allowing the 4th fewest points to opposing quarterbacks. So I'm a little worried about that. Obviously, the person that shit the bed last week, Justin Fields, against the Panthers. I think this is a bounce back. Has ran for 45 yards, 3 of the 5 this year, averaging 8 carries for 47 yards. Now, look, I know he shit the bed last week, and because of that, he's going to be insanely under-owned. Because of the ownership, it creates an opportunity. Caleb Williams, 252, a touchdown, a rushing score, has 11 scores in 5 games, 2 rushing, has no picks. This opponent, the Saints are allowing the 5th most points per games to quarterbacks. When we look at the weather issues, last time I looked, the weather's not going to be that bad up here in Chicago. I think that the Colts secondary sucks. Instead of trying to pick which Chargers wide receiver to go with, maybe just take Justin Herbert. 262 and 2 last game, has 5 touchdowns, averaging 233 behind an awful offensive line. But when you look what he does at home, he's averaging 261 and 1.7 touchdowns per game. And then I think the Commanders and the Cowboys, I think that game's going to blow out. We got Jaden Daniels, 211, 3 touchdowns last week, 10 carries for 52 yards in 4 games. He has 7 touchdowns, only 1 pick. But this is going to be a rushing side using him because he has yet to reach, 235. He's averaging 44 yards per game on the ground. The opponent is allowing the most points per game to quarterback, including 17 touchdowns, 2 of which on the ground. That is the Cowboys. Flip side of that, Dak Prescott, 263, 3 touchdowns, 3 straight games with 3 touchdowns. And I really think people, because of how bad the Cowboys defense don't realize what good of season Prescott is having. 10 touchdowns, 0 INTs, multiple passing touchdowns in 4 or 5 games, averaging 286 yards, 2.6 touchdowns per game. I mean, the Commanders are allowing the 4th most points per game to quarterbacks. That's kind of where my head is. I mean, I just started writing, bud.
All right, yeah, I like it.
All right, man.
I just started writing, man. That's the new, the just started writing podcast. So I just did a top 5, and look, so at the top, I agree with you. No team in the league has allowed more fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks than the Dallas Cowboys. So give me Jaden Daniels, 6'9" DraftKings, 7-7 on FanDuel. Haven't had that big blow up game from Daniels yet. I think this is the week where you get the big hit. Now, the problem is no Terry McLaurin for a 4th straight game, and possibly no Deebo Samuel for this game too. So then it gets to be like there could be some value at wide receiver. We'll get to that with the likes of like the Jalen Lanes and the Luke McCaffreys of the world. But that's a question. I can't wait to get to that question for Erik because I know Erik has fun with that too. We'll get to that in between quarterbacks and running backs. We will get to your question, sports facts. I'm going to direct that straight to Erik. But I love Jaden Daniels. In that same game, Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott's probably safer. Typically, it'd be the rushing upside, right, of Jaden Daniels. But with all the injuries at receiver for Washington, you look at Dallas, the Commanders have allowed the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. They're getting CeeDee Lamb, who says, I'm fully ready to go. Could have played last week. So now you got a full complement of weapons in Dallas. Love me some Dak Prescott. You mentioned Drake May, and I have him as one of my options. He's 6'3" DraftKings. What is he? 8-2 on FanDuel. What's Prescott's 8-3 on FanDuel? And Daniels is 8-7. Very expensive. But so you mentioned the Titans allowing the 4th fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. But their secondary is not good. When you look at the matchups in the secondary, right? And they play zone 66% of the time. Oftentimes they're playing zone, but L'Jarius Sneed, McCreary, and Armour Davis, they're all giving up 0.32 or more fantasy points per route ran against. McCreary in the slot is not very good. Stephon Diggs could be really good in the slot this week. But then I'm also like, all right, is this too? He's had the hot hand. Drake May's been red hot. He's the darling right now, the young darling of the NFL. A road game in Tennessee with Tennessee getting a new head coach, bringing the interim coach after 5. It just feels like a fucking trap to me. Like, is the Drake May thing a trap? I don't know. It's a good matchup at the secondary. I want to play him and Diggs. And it just seems too obvious. Like, I'm going to be holding my head going, son of a bitch, and Drake May's going to have like 3 points at halftime. Yeah. I don't fucking know what to do. Is it a trap? Before I move on, what do you think?
There is a nice little bet posted on that in our Patreon. Click the link below, and I will give you a hint. Yes, I think it's a trap with the bet I wrote out. I could see.
And to answer Dom MB, yes, we had a touchdown parlay. That's where you'd find it, is in the Patreon. I haven't put all my Sunday plays out yet, but that's where we'll have it, is in the Patreon. Touchdown parlays. Find that all.
Dude, I always post a round robin. We went 3 out of 4 in it last week. It was
last week.
Ferguson, McBride, and I'm spacing on the wide receiver guy that it was, but. What 3 out of 4, I always put a touchdown parlay together too.
Yep, it's all out there in the Patreon. It's $15 a month. It's paid for itself a million times. So yeah, I do worry about that trap. Moving a little bit further down, Caleb Williams against the Saints. He's the boomer bust guy. He can get you 30, he can get you 11, right? But the Saints do allow 4th most fantasy points opposing quarterbacks, 4th most. They're at home. Could be a little bit of rain, something to keep an eye on there. But the Saints offense, and that's my next option, is Spencer Rattler in that same game. The Bears allow the 6th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. But the Saints aren't just rolling over and dying. They're pushing back a little bit. And that's what we kind of need. Keep the foot on the gas. I think if you're looking like low-end value guy, I think Spencer Rattler could be interesting this week. I know that's crazy, but he's got some rushing upside, and it's a good matchup against the Bears. So that's sort of where my top 5 is at. Before we go to running backs, great question for you, Erik. Bam Knight, Michael Carter. Start one. I would say volume-wise, it's Michael Carter, and then have fun getting your touchdowns poached by Bam Knight, right?
Knight's going to be the goal line back. I mean, so if they get down there, Knight's going to get the options. Carter is a bigger factor in the passing situations. So if they're playing from behind against the Packers, he's going to get more volume, more opportunity. I mean, it kind of depends what your format is, but Knight's going to score the touchdowns. Carter will get him down there in the passing attack. So I'd probably go Carter.
Yeah, I'd probably go Carter too, but that option sucks. Let me just tell you, that sucks. I feel for you on that one. We'll get to Rashee Rice here in a moment. After we talk running backs, we'll talk some wide receivers. Let's get to the running backs. Who are you looking at this week at running back, Erik?
Oh my God, running backs. Got another laundry list, my friend. First one, disgusting. Tony Pollard. Has 2 scores in 4 games, went 128 with 28 carries last year against the Pats. Obviously a down game last week, but I do believe you can run on this Patriots offense. Because of that, I do think he's going to be under-owned. We mentioned we look to attack the Cowboys. JCM, 17 for 61 on the ground. He's averaging 15.5 carries for 86 yards and a score per game. Has 4 scores on the year, 3 in the last 4 games. I really want to look to attack this Cowboys defense. Maybe with Scary Terry going out, if I'm a little worried about going with Jaden Daniels, I think JCM is a nice little pivot. We mentioned the weather issues down in Cleveland. Judkins is in a phenomenal position. Last week was his first game held under 60 yards. He's averaging 17 carries, 77 yards on the ground. And the Dolphins are allowing the most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. If it's rainy and they're saying 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, Dylan Gabriel struggling to throw the ball over 10 yards. They're going to be pounding the rock with Judkins, especially against this Finns defense that can't stop it. Aston Genty has been electric the last 3 games. 23 for 75 last week, has gone 20 for 75 2 of his last 3, has 9 catches. Raiders against the Chiefs, I think they're going to lean on the running game, especially with how KC's run defense has looked. Like, I really feel the Lions kind of showed it. Just try to run the ball as much as you can, limit the game. They always already play at a slow pace. The Raiders do. I expect a heavy game dose of Gentry, especially with Bowers being out again. We mentioned no Garrett Wilson earlier. Breece Hall had no catches, 22 carries for 59 on the ground last week. Has had 14 carries in 3 straight. He's averaging 17 carries for 84 yards. No scores on the year, so he's obviously due for some positive touchdown regression. And against this Panthers defense, I think there's an opportunity there. Now, I think Alvin Kamara is going to get traded. I really think he's going to look to be put on the move. You're playing against the Bears defense, which struggles defending running backs in the passing game and the full point PPR. I think Kamara is in a great spot. We have seen Miller. Basically, he's getting more touches and he's cutting into that snap count where it's a pure 50-50. Bears do have some issues at the running back position. Maybe the Saints use this to audition Kamara, give him a little bit more run. Mentioned J.K. Dobbins before, 14 for 40 last week. He's averaging 15 for 74 on the ground. Giants can't stop the run. Javonte Williams played 86% of the snaps last week. A huge number. But he only went 13 for 29. Because of that, I think he's going to be a little bit under-owned. I think this Commanders defense is not that good. We saw DeAndre Swift tear him up. Javonte Williams, great price. Now, I mentioned Michael Carter, 11 touches for 64 yards the last 2 games. He went 27, 86, and 1, 7 for 52 in the air, has 50 scrimmage yards in 4 or 5 games. So he is getting touches even before all the injuries to the backfield. So that's kind of where my head is for those guys.
Yeah, I like it. I love Quinshon Judkins. We'll get to that. Jonathan Taylor's the most expensive running back on the board, and I'm just going to try to play him most weeks. He just gets the ball. They figure out a way to get him the ball. He's always on the field. They actively try to get him touchdowns. I just love the usage of Jonathan Taylor. 82% of the offensive snaps so far this year, 43% touch rate. Chargers middle of the pack, stopping opposing running backs. I don't mind this one. In LA, it just seems like the kind of spot where Jonathan Taylor just dominates the Chargers defense. I can absolutely see that happening. Another one I like, and I especially like that he's got the little injury tag, Josh Jacobs against the Cardinals. This just has a running game, blowout type, no pressure from the Cardinals, no pushback from the Cardinals. So it's just a running game script. Now, Jacobs, he's been sick all week, and they added a little calf thing to his injury, but he's a full participant in practice today. Fully expect him to play. Cardinals allow the 9th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Dude, he is the offense for the Green Bay Packers. Maybe just like a dart throw, Emmanuel Wilson, his backup. I actually went and picked him up in the Guillotine League. I dropped Theo Johnson, and just in case Jacobs wasn't going to be there. They're starting to really like Emmanuel Wilson. And if they are beating the Cardinals a little bit here, and later in the game they want Jacobs maybe still isn't feeling great, I could see them letting the young kid have a few more carries, just like a tournament dart throw, just something to keep in mind on that front. Further down the list, I agree with you on Javonte Williams. You just have to, unfortunately, I don't like him. He looks better for the Cowboys. And for me, you're right. That matchup against Washington, I like it quite a bit. How about Breece Hall against Carolina?
Love it.
I like Breece Hall a lot. And look, I don't think he may be traded, but I just love the work rate. Braylon Allen getting injured was just such a Christmas gift, an early Christmas gift to all of us Breece Hall owners. I know he didn't have a huge game against the Broncos, but they gave it to him nearly every play. 22 carries. Last week was the first week ever in his career where he wasn't targeted in the passing game. The previous 2 weeks, he had 11 targets. I think Breece Hall's in a good spot this week. I like Breece Hall, 6'3" DraftKings, 7K on FanDuel. Completely agree about JCM. Just hope he doesn't have another fumble and kind of get pulled out of the rotation. Further down the list, at 5'6" and 5'5", you mentioned Dobbins. Love the Dobbins play. And I also like Kamani Vidal. I was trying to tell people last week, Vidal's the guy, not Hassan Haskins. They like Kamani Vidal. They'll use him in the passing game. I don't mind that for a little bit of value as well. Before we move on to wide receivers, we got a few questions here. Caden wants to know, half-point PPR, start 3. Debo, Sutton, Brian Thomas Jr., Brees Brees Hall, MHJ. Who's
Start
MHJ?
3. Marvin Harris Jr.
Oh, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's questionable. Debo is no guarantee to play either with the heel injury. You're definitely starting Cortland Sutton. I love the matchup for Cortland Sutton this week. So Cortland Sutton's an absolute definite for me against the Giants and Paulson and Debo. If he does shadow him, oh my God, like Cortland Sutton's a great play this week. I would start Brees Hall and then probably Brian Thomas Jr. That's the 3 I would go with.
I mean, Brees Hall, number 1 by far for me. Sutton. I mean,
if Debo plays, I would take him. I'll take him over Brian Thomas Jr. just because the targets can sometimes be weird with Jacksonville. And isn't that the morning game in London?
Yeah.
I fucking hate those games. Absolutely fucking hate those games.
I mean, like, dude, I'm looking at my rank. Like every week I do rankings at the wide. I don't do flex rankings. I do wide receiver rankings. I have Debo at 26, Harrison at 22, and Thomas at 25. So I all have them just right there, bunched up. To me, Hall by far. I mean, definitely, I would go Hall.
If Debo plays, it's Hall, Debo, and Sutton for me. With no McLaurin, especially against that Cowboys defense. Again, keep an eye on the injury report. I saw Marvin Harrison Jr. rule the play. He'd be last for me. Kyler Murray's not even guaranteed he's going to play this week, so they go back to I just want nothing to do with that Cardinals. I want nothing to do with the Cardinals. They're a dumpster fire. Absolute dumpster fire. Okay, next question from Caden. Oh, one more. Setting Jordan Love or Bo Nix?
I got Nix at 9 and Love at 16 this week.
Yeah, I would go Bo Nix. I just God damn it. Where is that game? Why can't the Giants secondary is just terrible. It's a great matchup for Bo Nix. And with that pass rush, he might have to use his legs a little bit more.
Exactly.
Run the ball.
With that pass rush, he's going to have that rushing upside too to extend the plays. Good point.
Like Bo Nix quite a bit. Is that not on the main slate?
No, that's a later 4 o'clock game.
Oh, it's still main slate though. For
still main
maker.
Slate.
I didn't mention Bo Nix, but I do like Bo Nix as a DFS play this week. Didn't mention him in quarterbacks. Then we got Evan Ingram or Theo Johnson in that same game. I mean, that's easy for me too. Evan Ingram against that Giants defense. So there's some questions there. You start to get all your questions in there. We'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can. All right, wide receiver.
There's one in there you didn't get to. It's a little further up. Where was the one about Rice?
Oh, we're going to talk about, because we're getting to wide receivers right here. Okay. I have them marked. So we're going to talk wide receivers right here. So I figured we'd answer that question. Right now, what do you like at wide receiver this week, man?
Oh, wide receiver. No Ridley. So the wide receiver, the young guy from Stanford who plays for the Titans, whose name I cannot pronounce.
Erik Yamanor. Is that him?
Yes.
Looking for some value for sure.
I think he's great. Look, he's been under 45 yards in all of one game, but you can throw in the Patriots. I think the Patriots back 4 is awful. No Ridley there. Those targets have to go somewhere. I think they go there. Jacoby Myers need a monitor. He's dealing with an elbow and a toe injury. 4 for 39, 4 for 32, 4 for 30. Those are his last 3 games. No touchdowns on the year. Another guy who's a big part of the offense that is due for some touchdown regression. He has not practiced, though, which is a little worry point. You got to watch that. Now, my note on Rashid Rice. In his last 3 healthy games, he went 5 for 75 each time, averaging 8 catches, 96 yards, and 10 targets, has 9 touchdowns in 20 games. Interesting to note, the Bears are really bad defending wide receiver 2s and wide receiver 3s per DVOA. What about Shaheed? 4 for 28 last game, has had 4 catches in every game, 2 touchdowns, deep play threat. I kind of like him. Romo Duze, I think he's going to be under-owned. 2 for 32 last week. Those are season lows for him. He's averaging 5 for 74 on the season with 8 targets per game. First game this year without a touchdown, last one. What about A.J. Brown? Vikings back 4 can be passed on. 8 targets in 5 straight games, has 5 catches in 4 of his last 5, averaging 4.8 catches, 53.3 yards per game, has 5 catches in 8 of his last 9 games on the road. Now, it doesn't look like Mitchell is going to be playing. Dijon plays on the inside. I don't know who's playing quarterback. It looks like it's Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
JJ.
he's named the starter. McCarthy's going to be the emergency number 3 quarterback.
We got Justin Jefferson, has hit 75 yards in 4 straight, has gone 7 for 120 in each of the last 2 games with 11 targets, went 11 for 159 last time against the Eagles. Romeo Doubs has gone 5 for 55 in 2 straight, has 4 touchdowns in 4 games, had 49 yards and 2 touchdowns last meeting. You mentioned CD Lamb earlier. 7 for 110 and 9 for 120, 9 for 112, 24 targets in 2 games last year. Has gone 7 for 100 in 4 straight games when he's healthy. Has 10 catches. So when you're playing these PPR formats, it's important to know on DraftKings. You're going to be getting those points. So I'm definitely interested in CD Lamb. Did they clear him yet?
He's going to play.
Okay.
He's going to play. He's already said he could have played last week. He's come out and said he's ready to rock and roll. I love him. Obviously, I picked him up in guillotine for way too cheap. It's probably the signing of the year. I just took him when he's still hurt. It's almost brilliant. You know what I mean? It's almost fucking brilliant.
Planning. You're planning
ahead. Planning ahead, which I never do in my real life, which is fucking like I don't fucking plan anything. I'm the worst about it. But my damn fantasy football teams, I plan it. That's why I need to take ADHD medicine. But love CD Lamb this week. I love him. I love the matchup. I completely agree. I completely agree with you with Jefferson too. But I'm looking at the other side, Jordan Addison. I love the matchup for Addison, and I really do think the Eagles here, they're going to really be trying to focus on Justin Jefferson. And how many times have we seen it where it's just the Jordan Addison show because Jefferson's double covered and Addison's a really good number 2 receiver. I think if you're looking for like mid-tier, Addison makes some sense. I like Rome Odunze quite a bit. You mentioned Rome Odunze. I think he's in a great spot this week. I mentioned Cortland Sutton. I love Cortland Sutton this week. Really rough week last week. Only 3 targets, his fewest of the year. Going against the Giants team, I mentioned the matchup with Paulson and Debo. They allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers in terms of adjusted fantasy points allowed. They're one of the worst in the league, just below the Saints and the Steelers, who we saw get torched last night. Quentin Johnston's in play. In terms of fantasy points allowed, the 2nd worst secondary in the league is the Indianapolis Colts. Quentin Johnston missed last week. That big play upside, 5'9", DraftKings 7-2. They allow the 6th most fantasy points to wide receivers. Quentin Johnston absolutely in play for me. Look, Rashee Rice is in for me. I think they try to get him. Rashee Rice has been chomping at the bit. This was not an injury. This was a suspension. Frustrating offseason for this kid. It's a glaring hole in their offense. Now you have Worthy, Rice, Travis Kelce. Watch out for this Chiefs offense. The Raiders do have some decent players in that secondary, but I like Rashee Rice quite a bit, especially playing out of the slot. They move Worthy around and then have Rice out of the slot. Things open up for that Chiefs passing game. I like Rashee Rice. On DraftKings, he's a play. On FanDuel, no thank you. So on DraftKings, Rashee Rice is 5,600. Fuck yeah. On FanDuel, he's 7,500. No thanks. I'll go get like a CD Lamb or someone else like that. So I'll pass on Rice on FanDuel, but I love him on DraftKings. You mentioned Chris Olave. I mean, we just talk about him every week. He's double-digit targets every single week. A great matchup against the Bears. Love some Chris Olave. I talked about Jordan Addison. 14 targets over the last 2 weeks. 33 DraftKings points. 5-1 on DraftKings. I like Jordan Addison and Rashid Shaheed. And then we get love it. Rashee Rice, he was not out for this part of the year because of an injury. He was out because of his suspension. Am I crazy? Yeah. I mean, I know he was hurt before all that, but he was suspended.
He got hurt last year. And
then he got hurt last year, but this absence to start this year was a suspension, not the injury.
Yeah, he could have gone at the beginning of the year to start.
Yeah,
he missed last year.
Matter of fact, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, John Prince, but nope, you're wrong. Thank you. But thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You mentioned Elik Ayamanor. Love it. Number 1 receiver. The problem is, and it's not a bad matchup against the Patriots. The real problem is, God, Cam Ward. That team just looks disjointed. But, Okay, he's still coming. Like, really, guy? He's still coming off injury. Like, tell me you're just fuck off. John Prince, go fuck off somewhere. Seriously, don't sign up for the Patreon. Please fuck off. You're just people like you. This is why the internet, right? Here, let's just get rid of his comments so I don't see him. All right, let's do that. But I like Erik Ayamanor, new head coach. You know, they fire the head coach. It just kind of feels like it should be a little bit better. Obviously, the risk is just Cam Ward has not looked good, right, at all. He has not looked good. That team has not looked good. They look completely lost. I don't know what's going on here with my screen, but it's all messed up. There we go. A little further down, I think that's it. I was kind of looking for target monsters. Robert Flournoy's out now that CD Lamb's going to be there. You don't want to play him. But if there's no Deebo Samuel, a guy like Jalen Lane could become interesting, or Luke McCaffrey. So Luke McCaffrey, a value guy. Yeah, 5,300 DraftKings. I think those are guys to sort of keep an eye on down there in the value range. All right, getting past that idiot's comments. Here we go. We got Olave to the Giants. We'll see if the Saints do indeed start selling some of the. That would actually make a lot of sense. Olave to the. If the Giants, I don't know if the Giants think they have a shot this year. Why are the Giants buying?
Do it though. You know what I mean? Like if I'm the Giants, I have so many issues on my offensive line. I am not going to trade any draft equity for a player who's in a contract here that I'm going to have to re-sign. Now, if it's a team, what's a team that's good that needs a wide receiver? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, like the Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
If it's the Bills, I get it. Like a team like the Bills, move some draft capital to get a Chris Olave. Get it. I understand it. I co-sign it. But a team like the Giants, to me, doesn't make any sense because they have way too many needs on the front.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You want a future on Ward Heisman? Look, I thought week 1 against Denver, I was like, I kind of like this Cam Ward kid. And look, it could be a product of the coaching and the play calling, which has also been bad. So we'll see what this version looks like. It's just hard to completely invest in the Titans offense. But I do think Ayamanor is going to be the number 1 guy. He's kind of a touchdown kid. He's kind of like the new Nickel Westbrook Akine, so whatever, right? Always scoring touchdowns. So I kind of like Ayamanor as the number 1 if you're looking for a little bit of value this week. All right. Tight ends this week. Who you got at tight end?
Tight ends, my friend. I got Okonkwo from the Titans, 6 for 46, played 35 snaps. Of the 35 snaps, he ran an impressive 29 routes, has 4 catches in 4 of the 5 games. Again, no touchdowns, due for some positive touchdown regression. Last year, 3 for 38 against them. Now, it doesn't look like Brock Bowers is playing. Mike Meyer had 7 targets, 5 receptions, 50 yards, and a tutty. Really interested in him. My guy, there is a write-up in the Patreon about this player, Mason Taylor. Ran 25 routes on 54 snaps, but he played 90% of the snaps. That was his first time in his career. Low volume. I think he's due for a huge bounce back, especially against a team that is allowing the most yards per game to a tight end and allowing the second
no Garrett Wilson
points. Yep, and no Garrett Wilson. He's going to be a target hound. Absolutely love Mason Taylor. Juwan Johnson is coming off a bad game, dealing with an ankle injury. Bears are graded very low defending. The tight end per DVOA has gone 7 for 60 on 9 targets in 3 games. Look, he struggled last couple of weeks. He's going to be insanely under-owned. Tucker Kraft, 2 targets, 2 catches, 43 yards, and a tutty, 26 routes on 57 snaps. Went 2 for 13 last meeting, but the thing that really sticks out to me is the Cardinals are allowing the 7th most points per game in terms of fantasy to tight ends. And Trey McBride. Look, I know we make a big deal about Kyler not playing, but Brissett targets the tight end more in the history of, like, when you look at the two. He's averaging 6.2 grabs, 57.8 yards, 8.8 targets per game, has 5 catches in 12 of 13 games. Last time they played, had 96 yards, 8 catches. He is going to be their number 1. Now factor in, we don't know what's going on with Marvin Harrison. I absolutely love Trey McBride and Dallas Goedert. Previous 3 games, he has 15 targets, 8 catches, 89 yards, has 1 game of 45 yards all season, but has scored in 4 straight games, 5 touchdowns in those 4, has 5 catches in 3 straight meetings. So if you're looking for another option at tight end.
Yeah, completely agree. I hate the Lakers 99. It's kind of painful. I'm a Lakers guy, LA guy from LA. Love the Lakers, but we will answer your question, of course, and we appreciate you watching. Need 2, ATN, Dobbins, and Walker, and it's full point PPR. I know Erik has a man crush on Kenneth Walker. Travis Etienne's 100% lock for me. It's one of the best matchups on the board. Adjusted fantasy points allowed. The Rams rank 7th in football. They allow the 7th most fantasy points. So the Rams are not good against running backs. So I love Travis Etienne. And then it's between Walker and Dauber. I don't think the Texans are great against the run either. Are they better than I'm remembering? Are the Texans good against the run?
The Texans aren't good against the run, but I mean, for me, I'm looking at my rankings right now. I have Etienne at 12, Dobbins at 15, and Walker at 26. So Walker, even though I have a man crush on him, he would be the odd man out.
Yeah, John, I agree. I'm just saying the argument that this isn't an injury he's coming off of. He's been fully healthy for weeks now. He's been serving a suspension. So the concern of limitations in terms of what plays he can run and how many, I think, are lowered because it's not an injury return. And I think he's been chomping at the bit, especially when you've had your name drugged through the mud. You've got all these things going on. Frustrating time for Rashee Rice. That's why I like Rashee Rice. We're going to move on from that point, please. I agree with you on McBride. Packers get torched by tight ends. And he's cheaper than he's been all year. 5'7" DraftKings, 6'9" on FanDuel. Tucker Kraft, we're on the same page there. Cardinals struggle against tight ends. I completely agree there. I like Travis Kelce against the Raiders. I know they're all right against tight ends. He's 4'7" DraftKings, 5'8" FanDuel. But double-digit fantasy points. He's Mr. Consistency. And now you add another weapon for the defense to worry about in Rashee Rice. I just think that opens things up for Travis Kelce. He's never going to be forgot about. He's never going to just be ignored in the offense. So I think he's certainly in play for me this week. Evan Ingram, I like Evan Ingram against the Giants, a little revenge spot here. 19 targets over the last 3 weeks, double-digit fantasy points over the last 2 weeks. I like Evan Ingram quite a bit as well. And you mentioned Mason Taylor. Bad week last week, but the previous 2 weeks, 19 targets in those 2 games. The Jets could throw the ball for nothing last week. That was just disgusting to watch. So I do think better days are ahead for Mason Taylor. All right, let's close it out here. Let's go over the defenses. Erik, I got to tell you, for me, like the first 4 all in play for me. Cleveland, probably the best value in that rain game against Miami. Looks like that's going to be pretty good. And then I got a little bit of interest in Carolina deep down. Not because Carolina's defense is all that great, but because that Jets offense is putrid. And if Garrett Wilson's going to be out, it could be a good day. Or when he's definitely going to be out, it looks like doubtful, very doubtful. Could be, if you're looking for a value defense, maybe the Titans are interesting. What do you think here on defense?
In terms of the top end, obviously, like the Broncos against the Giants. Giants going on the road, tough place to play for Dart, especially when you factor in the altitude. Obviously, you mentioned the Browns. Love the Browns. Going to be a rain game, high winds, a lot of variance in that game. I kind of like the Jets, dude. You know what I mean? Dude,
I know.
when you look at, I'm just saying, when you look at young splits on the road versus at home, he struggles. Plus, the defense has been playing great. Defense played great against the Broncos. They limited everything. So I really am interested in them. A little further down, the key to the Ben Johnson offense is what? The running game. Saints are quietly top 10 against the run this year. If they're able to limit that running game, get a little weather, little rain, little wind, a Williams turnover, interested there. And we talk about every week, which is going to be the special teams that is most likely to score a touchdown. Obviously, it's the Patriots. They are a little priced up, though, at 3,400.
Yeah, I agree. I like those calls there. One last question. We'll make a lineup real quick. We'll get everyone out of here. Appreciate everyone watching. Please like, subscribe. You want more from us? You want our lineups, our picks, our parlays, all that stuff? Click the link. Join the DFS Huddle on Patreon. $15 a month, 50 cents a day. Can't make it any cheaper than that. Last question: Mason Taylor or Evan Ingram? See who are you playing this week? I think they're both wide. That's pretty equal to me.
I think Taylor's got the bigger, higher ceiling. He's going to be their number one pass option. Panthers are awful defending the tight ends. What happens if the Broncos get up 14-3 and it's in the third? How much is Ingram going to get? Excuse me. The Jets game will probably be a little more back and forth. I think that Taylor has the higher ceiling, so I would probably go Taylor.
I think I would go Ingram just because I trust Jackson Dart to throw it more effectively than I do Justin Fields. And I kind of like the revenge spot too. I like the little revenge narrative in that secondary. I could see him maybe forcing him a touchdown just to,
Hey, Sean Payton's a petty man. He just forced the ball.
Yeah, Sean Payton's weird. All right, let's make a DraftKings lineup here, shall we? It's got Caleb Williams in at quarterback. Who do you want to go with at quarterback? I really like Dak. Should we go Dak? Just attack that passing game.
Let's go Dak
or Drake May. Let's go Dak here. So we want to stack him with one of his guys. So let's just go up to CeeDee Lamb, see if we can do it here. At running back, looks like we need to save a little money. What about like DeAndre Swift against the Saints? Or they've been good against the run. J.K. Dobbins?
They've been good against the run. They have been good against the run. Dobbins, absolutely love Dobbins. I love Judkins is only 6,000.
Oh, let's do that. Let's go Judkins, and let's get a little bit more receiving with the second back here. We had Breece Hall, but let's get like where's it come on even? We can go JCM. Come back the other way.
Yeah.
JCM. We got CeeDee Lamb. Then we got Reese. Let's see. We got to save a little bit of salary here at the flex. We could save at the flex. At wide receiver, there's some good options down. There's Jordan Addison. Let's go with our boy Elik Iyamanor, 4,200. Then that puts 1,000 on, and we can go with Chris Olave right here.
Yep.
So this is let's see: Prescott, JCM, Judkins, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice, Chris Olave, Tucker Kraft at tight end, Elik Iyamanor. And let's go the Broncos. Let's go Packers against that Cardinals defense. Packers or Broncos. Let's go Broncos. Leaves 300 on the table. That's a nice lineup right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Solid lineup.
Again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. One last question. Last week we talked a ton about Ferguson, and we were right. By the way, I'd like to say he had a great week.
Yep.
He's too expensive now, so he's priced up where he was priced up for all the production he's put up the last few weeks. But now with Lamb back, he's still fine, and Jake Ferguson's going to be a part of that offense no matter what. But yeah, I would wait for his production to come down and for that price to come down before I play him again. I prefer the receivers this week. Again, we appreciate you guys. Follow Erik at ETOF21 at DFS Bachelor. Like, subscribe, check out the Patreon, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week from my